Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Crandall, just going through the packet for kids who want to have videos that they can review. This is from page 3, day 1, week 1 of the third packet. Now, before we start, a quick reminder of that big old word at the top, adjectives. Now, adjectives are words that describe nouns. Now, we remember from our old song, and hopefully I'm going to press the right button here. Yep. A person, place, or thing is called a noun. So let's have a person. Let's have him be red. A person. Let's see, the beach, because Mr. Crandall loves the beach. With blue, a little bit of beet yellow for the sand. So there's a person, there's a place, and let's have a thing. I don't know. Let's have a slime monster. Slime monster. Where's my green? There's a slime monster color. All slime monsters have to be green, as studies have shown. Just kidding. And a friendly slime monster. He is a thing. Actually, if he's alive, then he's not a thing. He's more of a person or an animal. So we'll try that again. Let's have just a blob of slime. He's not alive. It's just a big old blob of gooey slime with like meatballs in it. There we go. Big old blob of slime. So we got a person, place, or thing is called a noun. A noun. A person, place, or thing is called a noun. Whoa, I'm way off on that song. Person, place, or thing is called a noun. A noun. A person, place, or thing is called a noun. We have person, place, and thing. Please notice the handwriting's a little bit bad because I'm writing sideways on my laptop. Now, an adjective is something that describes a person, place, or thing. In other words, let's see. Let's have this guy be big, because look how big he is. Look, that's the whole beach right there. So we have a big person, and we'll use the color black. A big person. And right here we have a smelly place. We're going to have it be a smelly beach. And over here we have a delicious thing. I can spell delicious correctly, I will get $1 million. Let's find out. Delicious. Yes, Mr. Crandall spelled it right. All the words in black right there are adjectives. Now, you'll notice I accidentally capitalized the B, so I got to fix that. Lowercase b, and I accidentally capitalized person, pink, and that's right. Let's make that a different color. There we go. Now, notice once again, describe it, describe it. That's what an adjective does. Describe it, describe it. That's what an adjective does. An adjective describes a noun. So, for example, red man, blue water, green slime. Each one is described by an adjective. So there are lots of adjectives. There are funny adjectives like ugly or silly or weird. There's also boring adjectives like boring. Boring can be an adjective. This could be the boring person, or the boring place, or the boring thing. Each of those, instead of those being big, smelly, and delicious, they could be boring. Those are adjectives. Describe it, describe it. That's what an adjective does. Describe it, describe it. That's what an adjective does. So now that we've reviewed adjectives, I figured that we would go over page 3, day 1, week 1 of our third packet for second grade. So, let's read the directions. It says, adjectives, directions, read the sentences below. Write an adjective on the line. Now remember, an adjective is something that describes a noun. An adjective, describe it, that's what an adjective does. Describe it, that's what an adjective does. So the word here in this one, Greg's grocery store. Let's see, Greg's grocery store. I don't know if you can see that circle or not. Has the blank prices. That means how much what they sell things for can be good or bad. If the prices are high, they could be bad prices, the worst prices. If the price is low, they could be great prices. So in this case, since it says you're most likely probably going to put a superlative, which would be which is a adjective, like best. Of course, you could also say another one, because adjectives, there's so many different aspects. You could say worst. You could say, and adjectives don't have to make total sense all the time. You could say The silliest. I always put the capital there. You know, it's funny as I remind the kids not to have capital letters, and then I forget all the time. The silliest prices. Now, notice with the, you have to have an EST here. Greg's grocery store has the blankest prices. You can't say the worst prices or the happy prices. You have to say the tallest, the smallest, the biggest, the littlest. So whatever you decide, it has to have EST. Number two, the fruit is always. Now remember, they're talking about fruit at the grocery store. So the fruit is always, and this is what's fun about adjectives is you can make funny things. You could say the fruit is always moldy, meaning gross and moldy. You could say the fruit is always delicious, if I can spell that right. My O is a little messed up. There we go. Delicious. If you want to make it a silly story, you could make it the food is always friendly and has little faces on it. Notice that all these words describe fruit. Just like the one when you had an EST up here, I'm going to say best describes prices because the noun in this, the person, place, or thing, is called a noun. Person, place, or thing is called a noun. The noun for this one is prices, and the noun for this one is fruit. The blue word, which is an adjective, is describing fruit. Let's do one more. The meat department has the most blank steaks. Now, for those of you who have not had a steak in a while, a steak is a delicious piece of charred meat, and it is so good if they do it right. Carne asada is increíble. Sorry, carne asada is really good. Sorry, guys, I'm still studying Spanish. So, anyway, the meat department has the most, you could say delicious. You could say disgusting. You could say wonderful. You could say anything in there as long as it's an adjective. But let's see, could we put a noun in there? What happens if we put a noun in there? Remember, in this thing, nouns are red. By the way, store is also a noun. Steaks is a noun. Department is a noun. In this case, meat is actually an adjective describing department. But I'm going too fast. Anyway, the meat department has the most blank steaks. What would be a good word for there? We could have the most tiny snakes. Actually, that would be tiniest, so that one won't work. The most amazing. The most, if you want to be silly, you can make it bouncy, so they bounce around. The most bouncy. Actually, that would be bounciest. Sorry. When you have the word most, usually that means it's superlative, so you want to have an EST, but you can't have most bestest or most greatest. So has the most, I'm going to go tasty. That sounds good. Now notice that is an adjective that describes steaks. It's not talking about most. It's not talking about the. And in fact, it's not even talking about department, which is another noun. It's not the meat department is tasty. It's the steaks are tasty. Describe it, describe it. That's what an adjective does. Describe it, describe it. That's what an adjective does. All right, so this has been day 1, week 1, page 3 of our second grade packet. Sorry, our second grade packet, third volume, edition. Anyway, as always, text me, call me if you need help. Thanks, guys.